Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Let's look into the first question. Consider the following statements about contempt of court. There is no limit on time period for initiating contempt. Supreme Court can take the cognizance of criminal contempt on its own motion or on a motion made by the Attorney General or the Solicitor General. Truth can be a valid defense in any contempt proceedings if such a defense is in public interest and the request for invoking the defense is bona fide. Which of the above statements is or correct? The answer to this is 2 and 3 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of contempt proceedings. Now let us try and understand what are the options. The first option says there is no limit on time period for initiating contempt. This is a wrong statement. Why? That is because when you look into section 20 of the Contempt Act of 1971, it clearly says no court shall initiate any proceedings of contempt either on its own motion where the court is taking a suo motu cognizance or otherwise after the expiry of a period of 1 year from the date on which the contempt is alleged to have been committed. Yes, there is a limitation for when a contempt proceedings can be initiated. That is why the first option is wrong and the answer to this would be 2 and 3 only. When we look into the second statement, the Supreme Court can take the cognizance of the criminal contempt, which means the Supreme Court feels that there is a particular person who's violated the law, not respected the norms set by the Supreme Court. In such a case, it can take on its own. So the Supreme Court would be able to initiate criminal proceedings against a company or an individual on its own, which means on a suo motu cognizance, and at the same time if the Attorney General makes a request or if the Solicitor General makes a request or you and I make a request and this is given permission by the Attorney General, even in such a case criminal proceedings can be initiated. So the Supreme Court can take suo motu, Attorney General makes a request, you and I make a request, but that has to be approved by the Attorney General. That is when criminal proceedings of contempt will be initiated. Yes, the third statement is also right. That is because truth can act as a valid defense when it comes to the criminal proceedings of the contempt. Now let's look into the next question. With reference to Red Sanders, which of the following statements are correct? It is endemic to Western Ghats. It is put under category of endangered species in the IUCN Red List due to over exploitation. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is 2 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of Red Sanders. Now let us have a discussion with respect to this tree. What is this Red Sanders? This happens to be a tree. Where is it present? It is not endemic to Western Ghats, but it is found in the southern part of India, where in the state of Andhra Pradesh, in the state of Karnataka, and in the state of Tamil Nadu. This can be seen more in the Eastern Ghats region as well. So kindly remember, it is not endemic to Western Ghats, but it is seen in all these three states and also in the Eastern Ghats as well. So the first option is wrong. Now when we look into the second statement, it says that it is put under the category of endangered species in the IUCN Red List. Yes, this is a right statement. If you refer multiple news outlets, if you refer Wikipedia as well, it says it is near threatened. That is a wrong statement. Why? Because it is in endangered species and you have to refer IUCN Red List website. For anything to do with IUCN, please refer that website and not any other sources. So if you look into that particular website, it clearly says that the Red Sanders is put under endangered species. That is because of the over exploitation. That is because of the uses that this Red Sanders has in China, has in Japan. It is used for cosmetics, medicinal products, as well as furniture, woodcraft, and musical instrument. Since it has all these advantages and it is over exploited, which is why it is put under endangered list. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements. Cloudburst is extreme precipitation which lasts only for a short period of time and is extremely local in nature. Cloudburst usually occurs in connection with a thunderstorm. Cloudbursts happen only in the mountain and hilly areas. Which of the above statements is or correct? The answer to this is 1 and 2 only. Why have we taken this practice question? because this article here makes a mention of cloudburst. Let us try and understand what are these options. When we look into the first option, it says cloudburst is an extreme precipitation for a shorter period of time. Yes, this is the right statement. It occurs in a particular region for a very short period of time and there is excess precipitation in this particular region. So the first statement is right. Second statement says cloudbursts usually occur in connection with a thunderstorm. This statement is also right as well. But when it comes to the third statement, it is not only seen in mountains and hilly areas, but it is also seen in plains as well. But the probability is more when it comes to the mountain region, but it can also be seen in the plains, which is why the answer to this is 1 and 2 only. Now the question is, how does cloudburst impact the people? Generally, it may not have any significant impact if it is only rainfall. But since it is occurring in the mountain and hilly areas, this might also result in landslides as well. It might also result in floods as well. When there is excessive landslides and floods, this may result in loss of life on the one side and loss of property on the other side. So the major problem is that if it generally happens in a plain area, it will not have much of impact until unless there is excessive flooding. But in those regions like the mountain and hilly areas, this may cause landslides and excessive flood, which may lead to loss of life as well as property. How do we identify when this cloud burst will occur? For this, what we require is advanced machinery like the Doppler radar. If we have Doppler radar, it would be in a position to ensure the prediction of this particular cloudburst at least 6 hours in advance, or in fact 12 to 14 hours in advance as well. That is the advantage of the Doppler radar. So kindly remember that this particular cloudburst can also occur in plain region as well. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following statements are correct? The cool temperate continental climate is experienced only in the northern hemisphere. The cool temperate western margin regions are under the influence of westerlies all around the year. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is both. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference in this article. This article in general is not making reference to this climatic type, but we have to take a larger picture. There is United States of America, there is Canada as well, where there has been significant heat waves. This heat wave and the heat dome concept has been explained in our earlier daily quiz videos as well. But what this means is that since it is occurring in USA and in Canada, there is a specific climate type in this particular region. So UPSC may ask about the climate type. So when we speak about the climate type in Canada and United States of America, what we have is the cool temperate continental climate. This cool temperate continental climate is seen in this part of North America as well as in the Asian part as well, where it is seen along the Siberian region. When we look into the first statement, the first statement is right. That is because this type of weather is not seen in the southern hemisphere. Why? That is because when it comes to the northern hemisphere, what we have is a huge spread of land in the northern hemisphere. So this type of climate requires huge spread of land, which is not present in the southern hemisphere. And in the southern hemisphere, what we have is the tapering end or the very small or the narrow landmass. And what we also have is the significant presence of the oceanic water. The oceanic water in the southern hemisphere will also reduce the impact of this climatic types. So basically what we require is huge swathes of land which is seen in the northern hemisphere, and at the same time the oceanic impact in the southern hemisphere is comparatively more. So the first statement is right. So it is only seen in the northern hemisphere and it is not seen in the southern hemisphere. Now when we look into the second statement, it says the cool temperate western margin regions are under the influence of westerlies all around the year. What are we speaking about? We are speaking about the British type. Where is it seen? It is seen near the British and also on the western parts as well, tentatively. So what happens? Since there are westerlies in this particular region, it carries the moisture from the ocean and there's considerable rainfall in this particular region. So therefore, the second statement is also right. So kindly remember, if we are speaking about Canada and United States of America, where there has been more of heat waves, we have to know the climate type in this particular region. Now let's look into the next practice question. Kalamkari painting refers to a hand painted cotton textile in South India, a handmade drawing on bamboo handicrafts in Northeast India, a block painted woolen cloth in Western Himalayan region of India, a hand painted decorative silk cloth in Northwestern India. Kalamkari here stands for a hand painted cotton textile in South India. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2015. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is lightning. Generally, what we have is the heating of the earth. The sun rays fall on the ground. There is excessive heating that takes place. As a result, the air starts rising up. As the air starts rising up, what we also have is the formation of the clouds. When this particular cloud goes to a region or where the temperature in the atmosphere is less than 0 degrees centigrade, what we will have is the formation of the ice particles. So there are large number of ice particles in the cloud. So there are many particles here. These particles, what it also generates is they start moving into each other. They start rubbing across each other. What you will also see is friction. This friction in the cloud by the ice particles will result in what is called as the charges. These charges, as time passes by, are divided into two charges. One is the positive charge on the upper part as shown in the picture. At the lower end or the middle end of the cloud, what we will also have is the center of the negative charge. Now the question is, how does this current reach the earth from the cloud? What we have is the positive charge as shown in the picture. We also have the negative charge as well. How does it reach the earth? That is because the earth is a good conductor of electricity, but it is as of now electrically neutral as well. And when it is electrically neutral, in comparison to these charges in the clouds, what it will also act is as a positive charge. So as shown in the picture, in comparison, in relative to the cloud, it becomes positive, and the lower end or the mid end of the cloud is comparatively negative, and as a result, what we have is this particular lightning which strikes from the clouds to the earthen area. So kindly remember, it is because of the charge creation that happens in the cloud and because of the relative difference where the earth acts as a positively charged body, which is why there is lightning that strikes from the cloud to the earth. This is the general concept of the lightning. What does this article say? The article goes on to say that there are a number of natural disasters. It can be the volcano, it can be the earthquake, it can be flooding or other scenarios as well. Added to this, it is the lightning which is killing people in India. And when it comes to India, it is more significantly seen in the rural areas. Why? Whenever there is lightning, people usually go there under the trees to seek the shelter. But this is going to be fatal, and that is how number of people are also killed. So the number of deaths in the rural areas is more. Added to this, most of the people keep working in the open fields. This has also led to more deaths in the rural areas, says this article. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.